Alright, I just thought I would show you how you can make a self-marking quiz through Google Forms. So we come down to Google Forms here. So if we come up to the settings cog here, then we go to quizzes here. Make this a quiz, yep. Immediately after each submission, later after manual review, so maybe depending on what kind of questions you're going to have, maybe the teacher wants to check it first. And you can untick these if you want. And then you just fill your questions in as normal. Now here you can select your different type of answer. You're probably mostly going to use these three for this kind of quiz. These two here, you would need to check that manual box because you would need to read what they write and review it yourself, which is no problem, just depends what kind of questions and answers you want to have.
Between our class, it can't need love.
Now here you can see this answer key down here, so then you just select what you want the answer to be. You could add answer feedback as well. Type in there. You could say like good job or whatever you want. Incorrect answer, we could say like
have a look in your plant's notebook to remind you what the answer is.
You could leave something like that. And here you can hyperlink to something else. So I could really hyperlink back to a video I'd watched with the kids or something like that if I really wanted to. Next question, come to the plus there. And then I'm just going to add lots of questions in. Another really important thing is just this here, required, and you have to make sure that you move it across, otherwise the kids can go through the whole quiz and not actually answer any of the questions, so make sure you do that on every single question. Alright, so I've just got 4 questions there just as a kind of demo, I'll add to it later. Then what you're going to do is go send. I would just email it straight to my class. If you include this in form, if you tick this, the way they receive it is really weird and different, and they won't actually open it. So if you have any links or photos, or if you wanted something in the background of it for them to notice, they won't see it. It kind of goes into a different format, so I leave it blank. Add collaborators, so I could add my co-teacher if I wanted to. You can also send the link to the doc or just embed it in the site if you wanted to. I'm just going to send it. I sent it to my own account just so I can show. So this is what it looks like when you receive it. So you can see who it's from. It'll just say to you. It'll say hi room 6. Blah blah blah. Whatever I typed. Plants quiz. If I had said include quiz, include form in email, it would just come underneath here, and it's just not as effective to look at. So we go fill in form. This is what the students would see. So what do plants need to survive? They need soil, they need love, and they need water. I'm purposely doing that one wrong just so I can see what it looks like as a student if they got the wrong answer, because remember I put in a little hint thing there. So I'm doing it in a different order, it doesn't matter, but because I put required onto each question, there's a little star there. See, they're required, so I have to answer all the questions before I can submit.
There is a embryo, a cottonwood, and a seed jacket. Alright, seeds are tiny baby plants. That's what we talked about. They're only little, so let's go with that.
Submit. View your score. So as a student, they can go and automatically look at it. So they can see, oh, I got love wrong. And then look here, I remember this. Have a look in your plant's lap book to remind you what the answer is. It's that little hint I put in, and it tells you what the correct answer is. So they don't have to wait for the teacher to come around and whatever. It's just there. These ones will need to be marked individually because they're typed answers. Which of these is not part of the life cycle? I got it right, and I got this one right, so they're green. Now, if we go back to what the teacher says, the person who created it, if I come into responses and see this little square logo-y thing here, create spreadsheet. I'm going to go plant quiz responses. Create. So when I send this to all 29 of my kids, I don't want to have to individually look at it. So what I'm going to do is it goes timestamp, score. It's got all the questions here up top. So even if I had 20 questions, they would all be along the top. And then all the 20 kids would come down here, and all their answers would be filled in here. So as a teacher, I can have a quick glance for this question, who answered what, and I don't need to actually go into the form responses to check it. The other thing is that, so I've only got one response because I just did it myself, but what you can do is quickly have a look here, once they've all done it, and see how many people answered what to each question. There, underneath here, they'll just come underneath all of your different answers, and you can have a quick glance at what people answered. The other way is to create your form, but it just depends which way you like to look at it, and if you like to keep the information, a form is probably better. Another little tip, if you want, is here, these little 3 dots here. You can click get email notifications for new responses. So if this is something you've set for students just to do at their own leisure, or they have to do it within the period or something like that, you can tick that. Then whoever created it will get an email every time a student answers and presses submit. And that's one way to do self-marking quizzes.